Thanks for being here tonight. I'm Catherine Andrioli. UMass Memorial Medical School lighting up blue for Autism Awareness tonight. This is the 8th year UMass joins thousands of iconic landmarks and buildings across the world, shining blue lights to honor individuals affected by autism. UMass police also flashed their blue lights to show support. UMass hosted the annual Autism Awareness and Acceptance celebration today. The director of programming says it's important for families to have a support system and to be able to enjoy events like these with their families and others impacted by autism.
It's an opportunity for families and providers to come together and support each other in our efforts to increase acceptance and the services that these families need in order for their family members to actually thrive in society.
I think it's always a wonderful thing for families to be able to connect with each other and to provide support to each other, because many times that can be the way that a family can find access to resources that they may not otherwise find.
And April is Autism Awareness Month. Spectrum made a special announcement today on the launch of a new high-speed, low-cost internet option. The Boys and Girls Club of Worcester hosted the event. The company announced Spectrum Internet Assist, a new high-speed internet service for only $14.99 per month. It'll be eligible to low-income families and seniors. City leaders say internet access is something all people need, and this is a great way to make those resources available.
This is something I think communities across the country have been looking for years, where you're given access to the internet. So this opens a whole new world to people.
We do pretty much everything on the internet now. And so to think that some people just cannot afford the internet, there is a level of inequity there and disconnect. So right now, this access is amazing.
For this program and Spectrum Assist to come into Worcester in this part, I think will be very helpful and noticeable for the community.
But now there are going to be a lot of people who never thought they could afford it, who are going to be hooked into the internet and hooked into the rest of the world, so it's wonderful.
Spectrum also presented a $2,000 check to the Boys and Girls Club that will send 50 children to summer camp. For more information about Spectrum Internet Assist, you can visit spectruminternetassist.com. The U.S. launches missile strikes against a Syrian airbase. President Trump ordered the strikes after the Syrian government launched a chemical attack on its own people, killing dozens of innocent civilians. Closer to home, a Worcester woman who grew up in neighboring Lebanon says she supports the efforts to help the Syrian people.
A day after President Trump orders missile strikes against a Syrian airbase, Grace DeRouge remembers a similar situation growing up in neighboring Lebanon.
The civil war, we went through it in Lebanon too, so you know what? So we know how do they feel, because we got struck by bombs and explosions.
DeRouge lived in Lebanon for 20 years and says she came to America to escape the war. She says if the U.S. ultimately helps Syria, then she supports the strikes.
I don't know, maybe it's the right thing to do. We need to stop this. They need to stop the war. People need to live in peace.
DeRouge says something needs to be done after the Syrian government's chemical attack killed dozens of people, including children.
It makes me feel so bad, so sad, because you know what? Kids are getting killed. They're innocent people. It's not that someone, they're not a fighter, they're not they're just kids, innocent kids.
DeRouge works at George's Bakery in Worcester, which serves Syrian and Lebanese bread and pastries. She says coming to America has been life-changing.
I'm so happy to be here. I have a family, I have kids, and they're all grown up, and you know what? They're serving the country, so I can't ask for more.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Brewmasters around the region are making an unofficial holiday. It's National Beer Day, and in central Massachusetts, the craft brew industry is growing into a big business. Our Olivia Lemon went on a little brewery tour for us today and has the details.
The more breweries, the better. It's the more people opening breweries and operating breweries, the more we learn about it.
Medusa Brewing Company in Hudson opened its doors 2 years ago. Co-founder Keith Sullivan says the craft beer industry has taken off with more than 120 breweries in Massachusetts.
A lot of people do say, you ever get worried about market saturation or too many breweries, and it's You just got to fire back and say, is there really a scenario where we'd have too much beer? I don't think so.
Sullivan says one of the best parts of operating a brewery is learning from his competitors and watching his own grow.
I think that in the next year or two, we will have at least doubled our employment base. And probably doubled the amount of beer we're making too.
According to the Brewers Association, in 2015, Massachusetts ranked 13th in the country for breweries having the biggest economic impact.
Massachusetts is sort of riding the wave right now.
In Worcester, Flying Dreams Brewing has been open for almost a year and a half. The brewery took over Wormtown's old location after they expanded and moved to Shrewsbury Street.
I'm friends with those guys. Whenever I need anything, they help me out.
Owner Dave Richardson says while he's still in the startup phase, he's looking forward to expanding his business.
The more and more people walk in the door, the more people are really talking about how good our beer is, and that's our top priority.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
The National Multiple Sclerosis Society hosting a walk in Worcester Saturday as part of national fundraising effort expected to surpass $1 billion. Walk MS kicks off at 10 tomorrow morning at Worcester Tech High School and goes through Green Hill Park. It is one of many walks across the country by the organization to raise funds for MS and patients affected. Director of Development Eileen Curran says this is a great way to raise awareness and bring community members together for a good cause.
It's a debilitating disease that we're trying to raise awareness and mostly funds so that we can impact the people who are living with MS day to day to make their lives better, but also to raise funds for research for a cure.
And check-in tomorrow is at 9 a.m. There will be plenty of food and music and fun for the family. More information, you can visit nationalmssociety.org. And spring temperatures making a comeback, but with warmer temperatures can also come pollen. High levels mean a not-so-good scenario for allergy sufferers. Our Roslyn Flaherty has the story.
Sneezing, runny noses, and itchy eyes are some of the symptoms allergy sufferers are all too familiar with.
Usually when the warmer it gets, the worse it gets.
Dr. Whitney Dunlap says allergy season has already begun. The director of allergy at UMass Memorial Medical Center says right now there is a little bit of tree pollen out there, but there will soon be a lot more.
Tree pollen allergy is a big problem in New England, and specifically because we have types of trees that are really stimulating, like birch trees.
Dr. Dunlap says warmer weather earlier this spring created a priming effect on people.
When they see a little bit of pollen and then that pollen goes away because we get a snowfall or something like that, and then that pollen comes back again, people can have a worse sort of symptom profile the second time they're exposed to this pollen.
She says years with more rain and snow create more pollen, and climate change seems to be increasing pollen counts.
Over the last decade or so, we've seen pollen counts rise in many of the pollens that we've studied, and we've seen them be more stimulatory to our bodies in an allergic way.
Michaela Du Bois says she's been suffering from allergies for years.
I do dread the spring and the fall. I usually try to take Claritin, and for really bad days I'll take a Benadryl, but for the most part I just go through it.
Dr. Dunlap says to prevent symptoms, people should shut windows on warm, windy days, wash their pets often, and use allergy medications.
Starting your medications before the season starts can be very beneficial. We can always get by with using less medication to prevent allergies from starting before the season rather than having to pile on medications once symptoms really get out of control.